Well, day 1 of term 2 down, only 12 weeks to go. Hello again team, it's Jess or JashiiCorrin and welcome back for day 15 of the Month of Planning with Me series. Honestly, I'm feeling really spent right now, so today's video is probably going to be a little bit shorter than usual. And it's also coming to you at a slightly different time because I had to do teaching before I could come and do my planner. At the moment it's almost 5 PM in New Zealand, so I'm probably going to put a little bit of decoration at the bottom of the page here and then section off a space for my checklist for tomorrow at the top of this page. I know I'll have a couple of other things to add in here before the end of the day, and I'm not too sure just yet what I want to do tomorrow, so I'm going to leave that for now. Flipping back and working through my other pages though. So filling out yesterday. And I'll fill out the rest of that box tonight probably. Today I am grateful for my teacher planner, so I've just drawn the little Erin Condren logo in here. Not my best work, but it's okay, so I'm happy with it. So I had some time spent with friends, we watched some Netflix, I did the personal towels, so bathroom towels, did some commenting on YouTube and prepared some Year 8 content. Now as we're back for term 2, I'm expecting to see a lot more of these 2 columns filled in. In terms of my to-do list, there's nothing to update here. And for my meal plan, I can fill out what I've eaten today so far. And over to my PowerSheets. So just filling this one in quickly, nothing else has happened for my weekly action items or my monthly action items, but all of my daily action items did happen yesterday. And I could also colour in that morning work happened for today because obviously today was the first day back for teaching. On to my teacher planner though. For today's tidbit, I figured I'd do an update on how I was using my teacher planner as a whole. I do technically already have a video about how I set up my teacher planner. That one's linked in the cards above. So if it's of interest to you and you hadn't already seen that, you might want to go check that one out. But today's just going to be a brief update on where I'm at now. Obviously there is some sensitive information in here, so you're going to see a couple of little black boxes pop up. So on the first official page, I of course have information about me, my contact details, my school. I haven't used the websites and passwords section because I feel kind of uneasy about putting passwords in here. Plus, because all of my passwords get saved by Google Chrome, it's not really an issue. Password hints I'd probably be okay with, but I haven't found a need to put that in yet. I have a list of some classroom resources. I really need to do some more work on this because I know there are plenty more resources that I could be using. If you guys have any ideas or recommendations, please do let me know. In terms of this section, I don't have classroom volunteers, so I of course don't need their contact details. And then down the bottom here, I just gave myself the dates for term 1 through term 4. But of course, with the holidays shifting, that changed term 1 and term 2, so I've put those new dates here. After this, we have the communication log, which honestly I don't use. All of our communication home with parents and that kind of stuff gets recorded through our LMS, so I didn't really feel the need to write it down in here as well. On this left-hand page, I've actually gone to the effort to get rid of the title and the headers for each of those columns. I'm not too sure what I'm going to use it as. I was thinking of maybe like kind of a bright ideas page, but then I figured that I also have one of those later on, so I'm not too sure anymore. I know some people have used it as like a PD log, but I don't think I need this much space for my PD. Again, if you have ideas, I would love to hear about it. After this, we have the calendar for the school year, which, of course, with the holidays changing, is kind of not very accurate anymore. But as part of this, I also like to record days that I have applied leave for, days that we have staff-only days, days that I'm sick, just as kind of an overall record of that stuff. For the year plan page here, I wasn't really too sure of what I was going to use this for. I kind of spitballed some ideas, but I never really got into using them. So instead what I've done is I've just done a little kind of like important events to highlight section. So the only notes that I've really got here at the moment are about school closing, so we could prep for remote learning, and then the fact that all schools closed on the 25th of March. And then I've also got that term 2 started on the 15th, so today, with remote learning. And then as we go through the year, if anything else big happens, I'll record it in here too. For the graph paper section, so I gave myself the idea of putting seating charts in here, but I haven't needed to make any seating charts this year, so that one's kind of just sitting there. I also wrote down when each of the Year 8 lessons are, because I'm the teacher in charge of Year 8 science. So for our 2-week timetable, we have Monday through to Friday, and then I wrote down the period number if they have science. Here I also gave myself a yearly overview, but it is already out of date and I need to make a new one. I'm probably going to hold off on doing that until we kind of know when we're going back to school. So for now it just sits there reminding me that this is what in theory was supposed to happen. Couple more pages of that. And then we're on to January. So at the start of each month, I like to write myself kind of a checklist of things that I want to do that month. For January, there was quite a bit to do because we started back for school in January. I don't really get a lot of use out of the dates to remember section because literally over the page there is a calendar. So if there's a date to remember, I'm going to put it on here. For each of these monthly calendars though, I use this gold washi tape to signify when the holidays are. I also for each week write down what week number it is, so this was week 0 or staff only week, then we had week 1, etc, etc. And I'll also do a little bit of extra decoration, but nothing too crazy. The way that I use each of the weekly pages though is that each column is a period, because I have 6 school periods in each day. So period 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then obviously each row is a day of the week. Specifically the weekdays, because there's no Saturday and Sunday here. This section on the side though, I'll use as a checklist for things that I need to get done that week. So if we actually turn to a week that has some stuff in it. This one was week 0, so it's a little bit special. It's not really how I use it typically. But this was the first week of term 1. So you can see I have all of my little coloured bands to say what my school periods are, so like which subject am I taking at that time. I give myself a little tick mark when the class is ready, or when the materials for the class are ready, so technically these two should have tick marks. And then for each of my classes I write down a kind of lesson title or what we're going to be covering and the stuff that I need to do to get prepared for that lesson. or sometimes what do I need to do in that lesson. Along the side here, I'll also write down any other notes like duty, briefings, meetings, that kind of stuff. And then the pages at the end I mainly just use for notes, but obviously I didn't have a lot of notes to write down here. And then we're on to February. So again, putting a checklist for the month. Obviously a lot of this didn't get done because February got a little crazy, just in terms of workload. Monthly calendar again, so a little bit of washi tape here to signify when EOTC week was. This is also when I started putting down personal tasks in light grey, so I could kind of see how much of my day was taken up by what kind of things. In terms of the little checkboxes that I have on the monthly logs as well, I also use these just to say, am I ready for this class? So in this one I used little X's to say that I was ready, so like a half cross to say I was like getting there, and then a full cross to say it was fully finished. More of the same. So just with all of those checklists and stuff like that. Also up in the top I write down the week number, just so I can see at a glance when in the term are we. This one I actually did use the notes section for. This is just some stuff for my form class. And what I'll also sometimes do is write myself little notes for some of my subjects. So these ones I color code to be the same as the color for my subject. So because Phys Chem is yellow, I wrote this note in yellow. Eventually I will get to moving all of these across to April, but for now they can stay there. So of course this is when stuff kind of got a little crazy. You can see I started to write down due dates in the colors for each of my classes. So for this one it was in green because my biochem class I've color coded green, and they had a submission due. Same for my year 8s, so orange and pinkish red for them, to say that they had their report due and their test. And yep, down into the crazy. So holidays started here, whereas originally we were supposed to have summer sport week, but didn't happen because the country went into lockdown. And then this was the last week of term 1. So this one's all crossed out because it ended up being a staff only day so we could prepare for remote learning, and then we had 3 days of remote learning, and then it was on to the holidays. So nothing on my checklist for April just yet. And not a lot on the calendar either, because really not sure of what's going on. In terms of my little ready section, I changed these to be little ticks instead of little crosses. So the first 2 weeks were holidays. I haven't gotten around to fixing this. I'm probably not going to because it doesn't bother me too much. And then we're on to the current week. So in terms of things that are ready, I am ready for chemistry, ready for Phys Chem, ready for year 8 science. Not too sure what I'm going to do about CAS just yet, so I think I want to think about that a little more. Ready for 8MR, and of course ready for my non-contact. There's not a lot in the rest of the months just yet, so not going to have a look at those. But if we flip back to my checklists, obviously I can't show you a lot of this because, you know, sensitive information. But in this section in grey here, that's where I list my student names. And then up the top here you can see I have different things that I'm recording. So working our way across, the first one is bathroom. I found that in previous years my students would go to the bathroom like a lot, and I kind of want to encourage them to make the use of their break times to go to the bathroom rather than time they're supposed to be spending with me doing learning. So I've told my students they have 1 bathroom pass and they can use it at any point in the year, but they only get 1. After this I have a column for assignment submissions and a column for them doing their internal, and then 3 more columns for assignment submissions. As time goes on, this will fill up a bit more, but at this stage, I really don't think I'm going to need a lot of space. As I've talked about previously, the grades that I give my students, I record digitally because they have to go onto our LMS anyways, and that's done digitally, so why double dip? So I have one of these set up for each of my classes, and then as I've also shown you, I'm using them for topic planning. In particular, I'm using this for my senior classes because I have a fair few more things to prepare for them compared to my year 8s. So in this one, instead of listing out student names, I list out each of the lessons in order. And then the things I have along the top are writing the aim for the lesson, writing the learning objectives or outcomes, making the slides, doing the videos, because we're doing remote learning and I'm doing that through videos, figuring out which SciPad pages are relevant, figuring out which Education Perfect tasks are relevant, writing any personal note pages that I can give to them, making any practice sheets, setting up the OneNote page, and then putting the materials on Teams. For 12th Chemistry, I also have an extra one because they have an extra textbook they can use, so this one also says ESA Study Guide, so it's just assigning the practice problems for those as well. And then in this plastic pocket at the back, I keep any of the stickers that came with the planner, and I also keep the stickers that I have to give to my students and also my timetable. At some point, I'll probably laminate the timetable and stick it into the front or back cover, probably the front cover, but I haven't gotten around to that yet. If you guys have any questions about my teacher planner or any ideas of other ways I could use it, or people to check out on YouTube who also have an Erin Condren Teacher Planner, I would love to hear about those things. I'm constantly looking for ideas of things I can use this for. For now though, I am going to sign off. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked today's video, please do make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and I'll be back again tomorrow with my weekly Plan With Me video. Until next time, bye!